And we're gonna go. I want to now dive in a little bit into a little bit of a conversation. A little bit. I kind of want to talk about, um, some good things that are coming around to this, community. We're seeing it. We got this station. We got a few businesses that are popping up, and a lot of community things that mostly happen around the summertime. But what type of things are happening around? I guess in your circles.
Well, one of the biggest things I know at our school that a lot of kids do participate in is Young Life. Right?
Yes, Young Life.
Is a huge,
Okay.
huge thing, and I myself have never personally partaken in it, but I have a lot of friends who have, and that's a great thing for kids around the area.
It's fun. It's not really your normal Bible study. It's very fun, high spirited. You talk about a couple verses at the very end, and it very hits home with what they do. Like there's some acting that they do, some skits. They sing a lot. They do karaoke for a good majority, but it's very nice to see the people that come around because a lot of, like you said, a lot of the high schoolers do participate because
Yeah.
Clint is
Well,
Clint Faladuto is the track coach and
Yeah,
he
he's
runs that.
well known. Great guy, by the way.
Okay. Sounds epic. What about Tally over here?
Well, I run the Groove Theater Company when I'm not at school. I run the Groove Theater Company. We actually have a show that comes up at the end of April that is, let's just say it's a good thing I'm not directing it, but I mean it's being done by good friend of mine, Izzy Clemens. It's called The Wolves. It's a play about a very competitive indoor girls soccer team, and every scene is just them warming up before a big game as they advance closer and closer to the championship. So that's what we're doing right now. And I mean, we are out of the second floor of the DCA, so we've got a show planned for early summer and late summer as well. But yeah, I mean, like it's half children's theater and just half like other stuff that isn't getting done. Really, you'd have to travel to like regional theaters in like DC or Baltimore to go see the kind of stuff that we like to select, just because it's a little different. And I wanted to see theater come alive to draw in like younger people. And when I say younger, I don't mean like yes, the children's theater aspect is part of it. We do at least one children's play or what I call youth plays a year, and but I also wanted to pick stuff that was interesting to young adults, like anybody who's 40 and under, because it seemed like stuff was either being done through schools or everything else was being done by people who like remember shows from way back when. We're talking shows that are 50 or 60 years old.
That is a little bit of an age gap if we're talking.
Yeah,
about it.
I mean, there's some amazing stuff that has been written. I mean, like as early, like I think the show that's coming up in April, The Wolves, was written in 2016.
Okay.
So it's very recent.
Yeah, that's pretty recent.
Mhm.
I'm gonna hit y'all with a little bit of a question of what type of things do you guys think we should kind of start adding to the community? Because I will say this, I've been having a little bit of some brainstorming ideas with a few things that I kind of wanted to do in the summer. So currently, we got this show Flodo that's happening, but we got some things in the works where I'm starting to think. I'm hearing a lot of people say like music shows and like you say plays. And for those who don't know what DCA is, that's Dorchester Center of the Arts. Just in case if people don't know that. But I guess now for me why I'm saying this is talking about what exactly more do you want to be added around here? What type of ideas do you guys have that you think we could kind of start going for? Because I will say one is like a music type festival. I'm hearing a lot of people say they wanted to do some more music, which we plan to do more music because we've done it here before. We've done a lot of live music stuff, and I think with this setup, we're gonna probably do more of it. Kind of want to include some more people. So, yeah, what other ideas you guys have?
Well, like I said earlier, I am a big athlete. I love sports. Sports was one of the main things that helped me when I was growing up. And a lot of my friends throughout the community play sports. They have younger siblings, older siblings that played sports. So it's well known around here.
Okay.
We're from a really small. It's pretty small over here. Like I would go play a soccer game probably less than an hour and a half away, and the people wouldn't know what Cambridge, Maryland was. And it was weird when you go out of your hometown and people say they don't know it. It's like people don't know where you're from. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of talented and gifted athletes in our community, whether they are in the high school range all the way to the elementary school where you're just learning to become an athlete. So I feel like either an athletics complex or like a day where there are different competitions held, just something for the younger teen athletes that don't get exposure, as I would say, as they
Okay.
should.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hit you guys with another little question because we're on the community station. A lot of different people like to list this sort of stuff, and I will say there are people who are willing to fund certain things, and I kind of wanted to hit you guys mostly with this question because I know a lot of people around here. We kind of get a lot of mixed interest when new things kind of come about, and sometimes we even get I guess complaints about what kids do around here because it's sometimes I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of inconveniences adult life, I guess you can say. Like
Inconvenience adult
yeah,
life.
inconveniences adult life sometimes. So I'm gonna say this: what would it be?
All adult life is inconvenient.
Well, yeah, all adult life is convenient.
Being alive is inconvenient.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah, that is one. But I'll say I mostly wanted to say this. What exactly is one big thing that you kind of wish that as a community everyone could kind of just like if everyone was to like leave their house and had to go to one area in like downtown, what exactly do you think that should be or
Yeah,
what
this
it should
one.
include? Like kind of like a festival-ish
There-
sort of.
There is a couple things like the Kite Festival at Salewinds. Like that's a big thing that a lot of people around here do enjoy. Then there's the Jazz Fest, so Groove Fest that happens
Yes.
throughout the entire street. Let's see, what would that
Second
be?
Saturdays.
Yeah. And then we have what is it? Taste of Cambridge, where it runs
Cambridge.
all the way down to Long Wharf and comes all the way up through the street.
What was the event with the
Remember
ice
that one.
sculptures?
Oh, that
I
one
don't
was
remember what
recent.
that was called.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like the Fire and Ice Festival. Was that
the Fire
Yeah.
Ice
something like that?
was
Something like
pretty
that.
cool.
I've always thought just if you're thinking of like a singular location, I've always thought like Salewinds Park, especially that outdoor stage.
Or Great Marsh.
Um,
Great Marsh is a good place. There's
Yeah.
pavilions over there. There's a bunch of play areas for younger kids, and there's so much space for like ultimate frisbee, any type of sport, and even like if you wanted to set up an open theater. Honestly, there's so much space.
Well, we did Little Mermaid during the pandemic, like before there was a vaccine. This was like summer of 2020. We did Little Mermaid, 1 hour long, 2 actors. One actor played the mermaid, the other actor played all the other parts. And we had pre-recorded all the dialogue so that we could broadcast it into. We got one of those little radio boxes that a lot of pastors were using to
Ah, yes.
broadcast into
Yeah.
people's like car radios, and we had them all park in a circle. And so they were all in their own little COVID boxes, and they just had to tune their station to whatever, and bim bam boom, they all got like basically a radio play happening right in front of them. I'm a big fan of Salewinds. I don't know if it's changed ownership or what, but I know it's owned. The property is owned by the town, but I don't know who manages it right now. The gentleman who I knew who managed it, I think he moved to Delaware. So, yeah. But as far as like a singular location, I've always loved like the Salewinds building.
Okay, yeah, because I can agree with that because there was I don't know if y'all heard about the Led Zeppelin concert that happened. Yeah, because that was over there, and because I kind of reason why I'm talking about it now is because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it would be nice if we had more. It's why I kind of started the shows, having more knowledge and throwing it out a little more. Is that I was kind of hoping, as people come through and we get these ideas kind of rolling, that hopefully somebody can take the bait as that I'm throwing out here and somebody can like do something with it. But yeah, I can agree with the whole Salewinds thing, but I kind of wanted to say this in a sense though. I want to figure out what would be a really cool kind of idea that we could just kind of just do like those. And I guess not like impromptu. It needs to kind of still have a little bit of like notice, like because there was one thing that I kind of wanted to start with because ever since the electric scooters came around, because I was a big fan of e-bikes. I was gonna do an e-bike ride, like you see them mostly like LA. Like if you guys looked up LA E-Skate, they do it like like around LA, the LA area, and that's pretty like impromptu and big. I kind of wanted to like do something like that, and I know that there have been events like that, but I kind of reason why I'm saying it is because I want to see what exactly would make it more interesting. What else could be added type
A
deal.
lot of people around here do like cornhole. Like they love playing cornhole.
Backyard games in general.
Yeah, like if we had like there's a space right over in that direction that has a whole big area. We could just have like a cornhole like tournament where everyone kind of just puts
Just
in
a cornhole
Yeah, just a
tournament.
cornhole
okay.
tournament.
I mean, okay, that's
like
an idea. All right.
everyone's there. They're having a good time playing a game, doing something. You can do it with your kids. You can do it as an adult or an older individual, and you're all just conversing with each generation. Like some super old 80-year-old guy is playing against a 14-year-old, and they're just having a friendly game, and they'll talk in between, and the generations kind of just mingle, and everyone's there having a good time.
Okay, but
If I am picking up what you're putting down, Julian, I would like to say that if there is anybody who's got just a casual $3 million just lying around,
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
would love for somebody to build us an actual like performing arts like building something like because I don't know, like you mentioned the Jazz Fest, and you guys have
Yeah.
better knowledge than I do because I'm a bit of a transplant. I've only lived here for like
Yeah.
4 years now.
oh,
And I'm not from far away, so like I've always known Cambridge, but I mean like I'm just over from Talbot County, but I mean like I wouldn't know where the Jazz Fest is held, but like having a building that is dedicated, like
To
built
it.
acoustically for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like where do they normally play?
It's like right on Race Street. Just
Yeah.
Or they just play
right
outside?
down the
Yeah, down.
entire street.
Yeah.
Or they play in the street? Okay,
Yeah.
see, yeah,
There's
that's
just a whole stage in
Yeah,
the
just
and
street.
a stage in the
there are
middle.
definitely
Yeah.
there are definitely buildings in town that because like I said, our theater is out of the DCA, but I mean like at the same time it's and they're great, and everybody that we work with over there is like very accommodating, very kind. But I mean it's a big room, and you can do a lot with a big room. But I mean like again, having a room that is built to be, or having a space that is built to be, and you can do multiple things. You can have live concerts there, and you can have like instead of just getting by with what you have a space that is actually like dedicated to like having the equipment for that kind of thing. And that's the other thing too, is like a lot of the times when you find buildings that you're trying to do concerts or shows or dance recitals, all that stuff, like a lot of the times there's one big event that you have to like work around that all these other places also schedule, and that is weddings. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of the performance venues also double as like wedding venues. So
Yeah. Because throwing that one out there, I know. Hopefully, I didn't cut anyone off on that, but throwing that out there because I was gonna say this mostly because going a little bit backtrack to some previous episodes on this show is mostly. It was one of the themes was kind of being trained to leave, being told that what you want to do, you're gonna have to like leave, like if you want to get better at it around here anyway. I mean, y'all are in school. I don't know if
I've
y'all are being
heard
told that. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
many
I've
times.
heard it, but I don't believe it. It's
Exactly,
Not,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
something that has to be said.
Because
Yeah.
like people will say you want to get out of here so you can pursue a specific thing. I'm going into music therapy. Sadly, there's nothing here for that, so I kind
yeah.
of have to go. But sometimes this area only kind of like appeals to a certain demographic. Like you got the people that go fishing, you got the people that go trapping, and it's just that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah,
And I hate to
so-
say it like that, but it's
It
kind of what
is.
we got.
It's like, and a lot of things I like to think about, especially within the community. If you're from an area and you believe that there's nothing there, or you believe that it's not good enough and you have to venture outside that area, then why not look for ways to bring something in? Like you said, you
Yeah.
brought in certain things. Other people, I don't believe people in our community collaborate a lot. That's one of the problems. Collaboration
There you
and
go.
communication are two things that if you have it and you find the right people or you hear the right thing, you can always make something happen. Nothing is impossible. I mean, this town, we just built a new hospital, and the old hospital was there for ages, wasn't it? It could have been rebuilt anytime. They, pop up, they do that. They've taken down restaurants, built new ones, but it's like you're bringing back the same things. So it's not something that's going to draw in people with money for funding or people that want to come visit and interact with these different, I don't know, corporations, businesses per se. But
Yeah.
if you can bring it in and meet people and talk and venture out, but also come back, I believe that will help the community a lot.
There
A
we
lot of
go.
people that
Okay.
leave, they don't come back. They'll
Yeah.
leave and they'll stay going.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or sometimes come back in some cases, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll tell you what I've seen a lot of with what I've seen a lot of just like working with you guys in class or like working with your peers is like a lot of the times, and this is again just a theater thing, is like a lot of the times people don't know that they like something simply because they've never been exposed to it before.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So like that is definitely like watching these kids like be like, and it's like, what do you think theater is? And they're like, plays and stuff. And then you teach them like the whole rigmarole of like exactly like the alchemy that goes into creating a show, and it's spinning
more.
several plates and casting 100 spells at once.
Yeah.
And they just watch it and they're like, okay. But then they actually do it and they're like watching it happen in real time, and it's not an overnight thing. It's a very like slow, tedious process that can be fast if everybody knows what they're doing. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, I think that's a thing too, is like building things up that people don't know that they like yet. Like we just got the axe throwing thing, and that is super cool. Like I've been axe
dude.
I want to do
Dude.
that.
I've been axe throwing once for my buddy's like birthday a few years back, like right before the plague hit, and I was sitting there, and I was like,
This is pretty cool.
there's a bar and a bunch of sharp, heavy objects being flung through the air. I'm gonna watch this first round in case I have to drive us to the hospital. And no hospital. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
it
that
was
works.
a lot of fun, and like the fact that we have that now, like of course that appeals to people. People like throwing dangerous things.
Of course, Americans love explosions.
Exactly.
In general.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
just how that works. All right.
Mhm.
And that's what I was hoping that you guys would say. Because if we go back a little bit, because I know that I get that being totally somewhat on this show. That's kind of been the theme of it. Somewhat is having exposure and being collaborative, and that's kind of what I want the show to kind of do. And that's why hopefully inviting different people. That when you show somebody the show that or show them the YouTube page, that they'll go and hopefully click other videos to get other people's perspective, and kind of hopefully we can start getting a melting pot of exactly what people are saying around in
Yeah.
Cambridge. Because I will say this station is awesome, but we do, yes, at the station we do, have a little bit of a bias towards like a certain thing, and that's why they bring in the community. That's why it's a community thing, different people, different ideas. I come on in, I do an idea, another person comes in, they do their idea, and we're just kind of all collaborating to hopefully make a nice variety melting pot. So with me saying that, I kind of want to go back a little bit and talk about the kids of this area. What do you guys kind of think about? Because hearing about how we don't really have too much, and what would you guys want to try to do to kind of say to somebody?
I will say the kids here. Let me think about how I want to put this.
Okay.
I'm just offended I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's not often that I'm
I
the
know.
oldest guy in the room, except for every day at work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That kind of is the case.
It doesn't happen a lot outside of work.
Yeah.
No.
But a lot of
Yeah.
kids in this area, I feel as though are misinterpreted. There is a lot of bad stuff. There's a lot of good stuff, but the way that adults view children, it can be a real big thing. I know when I was younger and growing up, and still now to this day, even though I'm 17, my family will say, "You're a child. You can't say that to me. I'm an adult." So it's like that's one of the things I picked up, and it's like people may not often sit, think, and realize how kids live their lives. So the kids in this community, help me out, Max. What do you think the kids are like per se? Because I know what I'm trying to like think about how I want to put it. It's
Well,
just a lot.
I know.
The-
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Gotta hit the.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, I think what you're trying to say is like, and I agree with this because like I'm getting like firsthand exposure at watching like a lot of the next generation turn into adults. Like,
Yeah,
like
so-
I've always like my last job, like there was 2 teenagers that were around, but they were brothers,
Yeah.
and so that was like a very narrow focus. But watching watching you guys go into adulthood and like watching like 100 of you a day for a solid year, and I'm going to do the same thing next year. I will say I think it's weird because you think about like the generation 100 years ago, and it's like, oh, they're going off to World War One like at the age of 16. But I do think it's you guys are growing up faster than the generation before you, and I think my generation did that with Gen X versus millennials. We had to grow up faster, and I think it's because of like just it's faster and slower at the same time. It's like I think there's a lot more like understanding, but I also think you guys are exposed to like, how do I phrase this? Adult situations
Yeah, I
or
was
like
gonna
real
say.
Yeah.
like serious
The internet.
consequential
Yes.
Yeah.
things at a much younger age, and yes,
Yes,
that
the
is
internet.
largely due to the internet. So yeah, but,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
think
say.
that's- or the internet, or it's just life goes
'Cause-
sideways a lot of the time. I mean,
Yeah.
you got your generation is has been exposed to a much bigger like not to get too too like glum and also boring at the same time, but I do think your generation has
sorry.
like been exposed to a very large wage gap,
Oh yeah.
way bigger than what my generation went through, and my generation's was way bigger than what Gen X went through. And definitely the biggest sin I think millennials unintentionally committed to your generation, because this is what we were getting told when we were your age, was like, I definitely think the college debt thing is
Yeah.
going to be devastating for you guys, because we got told that it was the right thing to do, and now we are all like working
get to
away
college.
to pay that off. Just, and that's the millennial generation for you. So sorry.
It's not. Well,
I
yeah.
don't know, yeah.
Like, not gonna kind of add to that, but yeah, we have so much exposure to so many things on the internet and social media.
The internet
Like,
and social media is insane.
everyone I know has some type of social media, and they are exposed to so many, sometimes very good things and sometimes extremely horrifically bad things.
Yes.
There are things that get like airdropped in the school that are horrible, that can like devastate someone's life. Like,
Yeah.
it's that bad. Like, there's just this whole learning curve of you're exposed to like death and different types of breaking the law and this type and that type, but then you can be exposed to like happiness and stuff, but then
Yeah.
like
Yeah, the light side of it, I'm sorry, Max, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
you're
off,
fine,
but
you're
like I
fine.
definitely do think that you guys are developing talents at a much faster pace than my generation did, because you have the ability or the access to
the
seeing
internet, yeah.
like these talents at like a masterful level. And then, a good number of you, like, sometimes the reaction is like, oh man, I can never do that. Or it's like, oh man, I want to learn how to do that. Oh wait, here's 27 videos of a step-by-step guide of,
That can sometimes be wrong.
well, I mean, yeah, but it's like, if you want to do something really well, it's like, it's just, knowledge is just fingertips everywhere.
Yeah. I will say, small little. I do see one person chatting around in the chat. An Alex22 Brond. I don't know if that's any of y'all guys who know. He commenting highly agree with the social media thing. So there's.
Who?
I know Alex.
I-
I know
I was
Alex.
Which
gonna say,
Alex? Saldana?
That's probably somebody you
They're
guys know.
different.
So
Hey,
I'm
social media.
I was gonna say, 'cause I'm gonna
I know
add on to
7
this.
Alexes,
yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna add on to this one. So
but I know, bro.
I do believe the internet is the biggest thing, because going back to actually someone who said in the first episode that it was the devil, but on the other hand, it is the good thing. It's the thing that helps actually create this sort of I guess mindset that we're all going through right now. And I think personally, hearing that, and I don't know, hopefully other people that listen to the show will also understand that probably with this whole being exposed to different things, if you guys are being bored because you guys are getting this exposure and you guys are sitting here like, I want to do that, but everyone's telling you can't, so you're just going to run around, probably cause a mess and just say, forget you, or, you guys see that they're masterful and you're just like, well, why do I matter, or something like that sort of deal. So I kind of want to hit that type of a question. What do you guys feel on that end? Anyone can take it up.
People see so many like mastered instruments in musicians. Like, guys can play jazz music perfectly. Like, they can improvise without a second thought, but they don't think about the work that got put into being able to improvise so well. And I feel like that's a big thing. Like they don't want to work for what's the end product.
Yeah, the work ethic around here I see is very lackadaisical. I'll be honest. No, because like that's one of the things I despise about a lot of people, because it's honestly, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I have stellar work ethic.
Yeah.
But if you want something and you go for it, you can do it. Like the kids I went to school with, or just in my grade itself, have done things they haven't even pinpointed on that have been really cool and have been like made a huge impact. But people will look at it and say, oh no, I can't do that, I'm not smart enough, or oh, he's doing this for his team, I'm not that good, I'm only a bench player, or something like that, or like the girl in chorus who can't sing as high as the other soprano. So it's like, if you work towards a goal, you can complete it. Like there's a motto that an old coach used to tell me. It was, practice doesn't make perfect. It's
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah. So if you just work at something until you get it down, like you like we're doing
Oh
for the
my
play,
gosh.
you work on something and you repeatedly beat at it.
Dude, I've been
You'll get
playing
better.
my songs on repeat since I got up. Headset on,
Dear Lord.
repeat
Yeah.
on, just repeat.
Playlist in my phone is just Into the Woods. Like
I got
wake up
You're
in
all
the
gonna hate your Spotify 2022 list.
Dude, I got-
And it's like, oh man, it's all those musicals.
I legit every time I wrote out every line that I had on a set of flashcards, on note cards, and anytime I start going through them. Every time I have a free chance, it's cards. I already know this line. I already know this line. I already know this line. That line's kind of hard. Let me keep doing that one over and over again and see if I can get it. Like, the process will pay the dividends. Like, it really will.
Okay.
It's interesting too. It's like I've been doing what I've been doing for like at least
How
directing
old?
since I was younger than them. So like 14 years. But I mean, God, somebody the other day asked me, and was like, "So what do you do outside of the theater?" And I was like, "Oh."
Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Taxes.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
I taught myself how to cook because I need to eat.
Yeah, I can feel that.
But I mean, like, that's the thing is like is probably the newest skill I acquired is like over the last couple of years. Like I've always known how to cook like a handful of things, but then I was just like, okay, well now I'm going to teach myself how to cook things that intimidate me, like things that and the fire alarm still goes off at least once a month, because I'm just like, well, that was too much heat, too much oil.
Oof.
You think you would learn?
Oh.
The duck you made that you let me try was amazing. I'm just going to say, it was really good.
It set off the fire alarm.
Yeah.
So it should be.
Oh, Lord.
Well, dude, duck smokes. Duck
It
smokes
was
like
so
a chimney.
good.
It's so fatty.
You were
Jeez.
afraid to eat it.
Bro, I did that job.
He tried it. He did. He's still here.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
but no, it's getting better. It's less like charcoaly than it used to be. So I mean, like you know, that's just the thing. Is like work ethic is definitely a thing, and it's all about just starting where you feel comfortable. And I'll say the same thing as like a lot of these kids started rehearsals, being like really thinking that they couldn't do it or being like, well, I'm not sure I'll do this. I'm like, all I'm asking is that you try. I have seen people start farther back than where you're starting with twice as much confidence. And that confidence was probably misplaced, but like you should have some more confidence because you can do this. So, and it's like I've gotten practicing up to the point where I can help them get to a comfortable place, and like it's like I say, it is alchemy. Watching like not just like theater craft, but I mean like just developing a skill is really just slow burn alchemy.
Okay, yeah, because I can attest to, I guess, some of that being, video editing. First video, obviously looked like a Windows Movie Maker, and then nowadays I'm just out here doing Blender, making my computer almost catch on fire like 2 times a day. But
Off the smoke alarm.
yeah, so I guess hearing all that, hearing what you guys saying about the community's like mindset, how it's like lacking and it's not that great, but I kind of feel like let's think about it in, I guess, this type of way. Do we feel like that we all kind of are in a more understanding mind? Because I will say, I'm going to go back a little bit. We're going to go at least back into my school days a little bit. Is that sometimes, I know, so far back. when I would be in a class, when I'm in a class sitting down, like learning or doing, I guess, the bare minimum sometimes, it kind of just didn't, it felt like, there wasn't really too much understanding, like, we all have family, at least hopefully everyone has family. And we talk to them, and it gets to a point, we're all not all buddies half the time, sometimes we get our parents yelling at us.
Yeah.
But then, we all come back together, we all talk again, and we're like, well, we're sorry. Do we have that mutual understanding again? And, thinking back to that, I'm thinking, do we all still have that mutual understanding, for that kind of collaborating? Because, a family has to collaborate like that, we all have to like be on the same kind of level, Sure, tensions are going to rise and then we pop off, but then, it goes back again,
Yeah.
So what do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? At least in this community, do we feel we're all on that same kind of level, or
I'd
we're
say
waiting for something to
there's
pop off?
different levels. For the way that you're describing it.
Like
Uh-huh.
in the
I'd say
whole
there's-
community.
I mean,
throughout
yeah, I was gonna say the whole
Yeah.
community. Okay.
There's
Yeah,
a-
it's way different amongst certain groups of the people you have around the community. A mutual understanding, though, I'd say
It's here and there.
it's here and there. Yeah. It's like 50-50 type thing, but that's a good thing to think about. Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of. I know I'm trying to hit with the questions because of this show. I'm trying my best here to make the show, hopefully as entertaining and hopefully thought provoking as possible.
I definitely think just watching kids interact is I think there's definitely more understanding than at least when I was in high school, and I wouldn't know what CSD looked like before the plague because I wasn't there. But I definitely
Yeah.
think
Before
like
the
in,
plague,
in
yeah.
in some ways that's what I call it. It's a
It's the
plague.
plague.
It is the plague.
Yeah.
I think COVID definitely, I hate to say this, helped with that because for
yeah.
the first time in all of our lives, everybody in the world had the same
Came
problem.
from one
It's
specific
everybody had the same problem. So
No, we trapped in our houses for 2 years. I don't like it.
yeah, no, I mean everybody had the same problem, and
Cabin
it.
fever. Ow,
I
Blasé.
think that sense of understanding is like, and yeah, you get your occasional like, you get your jerks where you get your jerks, but
Yeah.
I mean like you get those kinds of people. But I do think that there is like a much bigger sense of like gentleness, because everybody had to go through that massive headache, and plenty of people, we lost plenty of people because of it. And a lot of people in this community have lost people. So I mean, I think there's just a softer approach these days now that we're finally, hopefully crawling out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I can say I can somewhat agree. I can kind of have that same sentiment. I will say it's kind of hard for me to gauge because my job, I don't really interact with that many people on a day-to-day basis. I'm gonna be honest. It's 50-50. I'm gonna say it at max. I'm probably interacting with about 10 people. But I guess in your cases, you guys are interacting with like probably hundreds a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
So I don't. It's kind of hard for me to like gauge that. But it does sound like, at least from the perspective that you guys are coming from, that it does seem a little softer. So I do want to hit you guys with this question, I guess. Outside of school, let's say that outside of school, what do we think? How we feeling about that? When we go around and we talk to somebody or we interact with somebody outside of our school community.
Okay, so like the parks we mentioned
Yes.
earlier. When you're at the park, you'll get your dog walkers, you'll get your kids playing with their families. Depending on the time of year, you'll get people fishing, people just sitting out. So like when you go to the community per se areas like Great Marsh, like Sail Winds, like the Lighthouse area, I guess, you just see people doing everyday normal things.
It's pretty similar.
I'd say the interaction between all of them is minimal. I don't really see people walk up, hey, how you doing, that often.
Yeah.
More or less in adults more than children.
Yeah.
But even with children, like the Sandy Hill Elementary School, with the basketball court that's out there and the tennis courts that's out there, kids will go out there and play. The back fields, there's a football field, there's baseball fields, like
There's cross goals.
soccer. Yeah, it's sick. So like if you catch a certain time of year, or Lord, with our weather, you never know.
We're in Maryland. What do you
But yeah,
expect?
Yeah.
But if you catch a certain time, people will come together and intermingle, I guess. With the community.
before the plague, before that, not many people were like
Didn't
super like interactive outside of like just in general in public. But like you'll have the occasional kid that's like that loves dogs, and you have a dog and it's fluffy.
They run up to you.
And I'm one of those kids. I have the urge to ask, "May I pet your dog?" Like it is a 100% want to pet a fluffy dog. Then you'll have some interactions with some younger kids. Like you don't want them to get hurt, and nobody's paying attention, so you'll kind of interact with them, or you'll go play with them if they have no one else to play with. So I feel it is a bit softer. Like it's not as like rigid when you walk up to someone and a parent comes up and they like demand to know what's going on. It's a little softer.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
especially before, the whole lifting of the mask and people getting less restrictive on what we can do. There was a lot going on, like
yeah.
with society just in general. And with Cambridge, like I said, it's pretty diverse, especially depending on where you go. You have all different types of people, so that also brings in different types of aspects. A lot of people didn't agree I can't speak. A lot of people didn't agree
time.
on stuff around here, so that did break up a lot of bonds that I would see throughout the community, or my friends would see, or that we would all witness. And just recently, people are becoming easier to talk to, I guess. Everyone's getting along more now. We're coming to a consensus about the whole mask thing. Like, I don't know if I'm not going to say it's over, but it's coming to the point. And slowly approaching it, slowly but surely. So we'll see what happens as it plays out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to jump off a little bit of the plague train a little bit and
Start talking about COVID for some reason.
I know, but that's
not
what this show's
pandemic,
for.
it's
I'm
the
being honest.
plague, yeah.
Just whatever comes to our heads, we just talk about it. That's why I started the show. There's no really set questions, so I just kind of want to think a little more about into like how invited do you guys feel if you guys just saw like a community event? It looks pretty open. Would you want to like? And you're not rushing somewhere, like you have to be somewhere else, obviously.
That's usually my problem.
Yeah.
I was gonna
It's
say.
like,
Yeah.
man, that muskrat eating festival looks so fun.
Bro,
Yeah, I was
muskrat
gonna
say-
skinning? Yo, I want to go learn that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Fucking oysters?
So, how I guess because me on my e-bike, when I first got it and I was riding around doing all these like community things, like it was a nice type of experience. I think I'm pretty sure this had to be before the plague. Yeah, I had that thing before that because when going around. I noticed that it felt to me, at least, there was like a certain type of people in like certain areas. It wasn't like I would see a certain somebody that I would see in another area. It kind of felt like I had to be in a certain area to see like one person that I would normally see every.
That's also in the.
It's where they're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Like,
it's a
it's-
lot of people
yeah, that's
that
why
grew up in
It's
certain
their
places that are
it's their
comfortable.
space. Like they know that space. Like
Yeah, that's why I was wondering. Like, that's why I'm wondering about the comfort level. Like, do you feel like comfy if you wanted to like go outside your shell a little bit? Would you feel like comfortable to like maybe go down to like a different festival that you never really would have thought you would go to or something? Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I would. I definitely would. Especially in our community. The people at the festivals are very
Very,
welcoming,
very
and
chill.
They're really cool. There's a lot of different events that take place too at the festivals, and all the places downtown usually get all their stuff from inside, bring it out, and then they'll contribute to everything. And the store owners, the workers there, they're really cool too. So like with everybody getting along, if I were walking past and I saw it and I didn't have anything to do, I definitely would partake.
Okay. Yeah, that was mostly that little main ordeal. Now I'm gonna hit you guys with I guess a little bit of a tougher question. How willing would you guys feel? I'm riding around a lot around here, and sometimes I see like they're not a scene change, but I kind of want to like do something to kind of like change up the flow, I guess you can say, put some smiles on some faces type of ordeal. How willing would you guys kind of feel, at least in the current situations that we have, of Cambridge, of just like going out? Because we have some people who go out, like at least when I go home, there's a guy who DJs off his balcony and just kind of does DJ for his little community. And then you have some people who
I know what
decide.
you're talking about,
Then
yeah. I know you're talking about.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah. Then or there's the some other people who go down to like different I guess park areas and like play music or something. Like how like do you feel like that's a feel like there should be like more of that, or how willing would you guys kind of feel for something like that type of thing to happen?
That'd be pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, if people did come out in the community and do more.
Yeah, like
what's
We're
something
talking like
that's
just spontaneous entertainment.
Spontaneous
yeah, like the
event.
city,
entertainment.
because like
Right.
in the
Like-
city, because I will say in the city that is a lot. That happens a lot in the city. Yeah, kind
Oh
of.
yeah, like in DC and
Yeah.
New York, yeah, you'll see street entertainers just all the time. Just
time.
a
Yeah.
dude with 2 drumsticks and a bunch
Yeah.
of buckets.
my
I
favorite
always
thing.
do that. Bucket drumming. It's
Yes.
My favorite thing is Taste of Cambridge because
for sure.
there's so many unlikely faces you'll see go to a specific stall. There's a guy that does blacksmithing, just straight up blacksmithing, and you'll see unlikely faces. Like you'll see a couple kids come up, you'll see some older adults, you'll see teenagers, and they'll just be enthralled by what he does. And then there's the record holder for the Chinese yo-yo, the Diablo spinning thing.
cool.
He does. He has his own little stall where he has. So there, it's 2 sticks and a string with a yo-yo that has a bearing in the center, and you flick your wrist and it starts to spin on the string, and kids will go up, adults will go up, but like super spontaneous.
Yeah,
The
just
watermelon eating contest is my favorite.
Yeah.
But kind of for me, a spontaneous thing, like I wouldn't know what to do. Like it'd be music or it'd be
Yeah,
some
that's
sort
it.
of game, or like I'd have trouble figuring out what I wanted to do for everyone else to have a good enough time.
I feel like music is a really big thing.
I was gonna
around
say
here.
okay, yeah, because reason why I asked that question mostly is because a lot of people like to say, Cambridge is a nice little, it is still somewhat of a sleepy town, and a lot of people, there's, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's a sleepy town, and there's not. People say that there's not much that happens around here, but there is like a lot of things when you seek it out or you actually like go out and like
Oh,
go
yeah.
for it.
If you venture
Oh, yeah.
out into Cambridge, depending on where you go, because there are parts of town that are secluded. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
because
You have to search.
I've been through parts of town, and I've lived here basically my whole life.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I've lived it my whole life, so it's like I'm still going through parts of town today. I did just last night. Still don't know what it's called because like I've never been there before.
Oh.
And, like
I'm
Cambridge is
horrible with
bigger.
directions, so I don't know what anything is
Well,
anymore.
I was gonna say with my recent, I guess, little business, I've been to some places I didn't expect in Cambridge either. Like,
Yeah.
I will say there is a lot around in Cambridge that I'm just like, well, I don't see spontaneous things happening here, or I'm like, what's going on here? That's why I'm asking these questions. Like, besides, I guess the main spots, would you be like comfortable to like kind of, well, I guess I know certain areas it kind of is a little bit of a gamble, but
Yeah.
how willing would you be just to do like a spontaneous sort of thing? 'Cause I will say I've done a spontaneous thing or two. I only did it like once where I like played guitar just randomly in the park. I had like only had one person come up say, yeah, you're pretty good at it, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm asking, spontaneous, seeing if you can like find more people around in this community who are into like what you like.
Ooh, that would be actually. You just reminded me of something that I did in 5th grade with one of my old friends. His name's Ben Knopp. We held a fundraiser for kidney disease, and it was called Cake for Kidneys. There's an old newspaper. I probably still have it, honestly. That has.
I remember
all
the
in there.
pictures. It was cool.
It was held at Sandy Hill Elementary School, and basically what it was a fundraiser to raise money for the National Kidney Foundation for anyone on the transplant list. And at the time, my mother was facing it, so it was a big thing for me.
Oh,
And I was like, why not have a giant kickball game? Because we're all in elementary school, so right now my mind is like kickball.
Kickball was like the football of
yeah.
elementary school.
Yeah.
seriously.
If
play
you weren't
kickball,
playing
you're a king.
kickball, you weren't known.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You weren't it.
Like
so, yeah.
the pro kickball kids, oh my gosh, they were known by everyone. But then you had the outfielders, they didn't know who I was.
But yeah, it's like I've always wanted to bring that back. I really wanted to bring it back to CSD, but I don't know if we'd be able to, basically because of the amount of kids.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it would have been approved, but
I
it
w-
is something that I feel like it would be good for the community.
I've wanted to do a fundraiser, like something like totally out of the ordinary, where people put in money to see what my hair will become. Like you get a mohawk. Like if this option gets enough money, I do that one.
Yo,
If-
do the thing. Oh, go ahead, keep talking.
Like if people want me to go bald, shave it all off. If people want me to have a mohawk, get a mohawk. Want me to dye it some weird color? Sure. But the money would go to the Cancer Foundation for leukemia and blood cancer, because had some stuff with that. So
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why I was asking the spontaneousness, because I'm sitting around thinking, because I was a kid once too, and
so long ago.
and I would think too, like, I don't know, same thing with you when you said I don't know if this thing would be approved, but
yeah.
at least in my current stage, there are a lot of things I didn't think could get approved, like the certain things I'm doing, like the scooter thing, this station, making a show, but even sometimes even getting sponsorships. But something that I didn't realize, at least it's still kind of hard for me to even grasp even right now, because still young, still figuring things out, is
Yeah.
if I just ask, I don't know what will happen.
Yeah, that's,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
that's a good thing. What's the word? Like, you ever heard what's the worst they could say? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you can always take your shot.
Yeah.
Version I always heard was like it's best to just do it and then ask forgiveness later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I
yeah, because
wonder where that
I know it's still, because I know that's why I say the spontaneous thing. If you're comfortable with it, because it's because even asking is spontaneous sometimes. Like it's like the common cliche of someone asking a person out. It's random. It's spontaneous, really. So that's why I'm asking that little question: is would you feel like comfortable at least with the community standards, the people that you would say, hey, I want to do this. Are you going to let me do it? Type deal.
I'd be
I
good.
would.
I'd be
It's-
down.
It's definitely less spontaneous, but that is exactly what it was like when we started the theater 4 years ago. Was I was like pulled together slap together a board of directors, and I was like, all right, so here's what I want to do, and every single person I have ever asked to be on the board, then or since then, it's always just been like, this is what I'm doing, and 4 years on, I have no idea if it's having any effect. But I mean, the people that do see the stuff that we do are always like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. So, and it's not because of anything we do specifically. It's just we are exposing people to
Yeah.
really great stuff that just doesn't get huge like attention traffic, just because it's like
Not well
people don't. Well, it's because
off
a lot
the
of the
beaten
a lot of the
path.
stuff that I choose to expose audiences to is generally revolves around like tough subjects, like the children's play we're doing in June over at the Dorchester Center for the Arts is it's a play, and this was a big pitch to the board of directors. Where I was like, I want to do a children's play, and it's not something I wrote; it's something that's been written
Yeah.
for 30 years, but it's a children's play about terminal illness, and it's about the first known child who was a hemophiliac, got a blood transfusion in 1982, and the doctors didn't realize yet that AIDS was a blood-based disease, and he developed AIDS because he got a bad transfusion. And it's very much a children's play. Like, it very much breaks down what terminal illness is, coming to grips with like early mortality and that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, that kind of, I mean, not spontaneous again,
Well,
but
yeah, but-
it is scary to ask those kinds of things. And I'm like, hey, I know what this sounds like, and I swear to God, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worth it. It's a great show, but I mean, and you normally get the question of like, why don't you ever do anything funny?
Yeah.
I'm not a funny person.
Well, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, because I was gonna say that's kind of what I'm jumping at, is getting people to be exposed to something different. Because like you were saying, traps and all this other trapping, fishing, and all that stuff.
And
the hunting
hunting
side,
and-
yeah. There's not too much of the arts around here. There
Yeah.
are sports as well. Sports is
Spontaneous
around
bucket
here,
drumming would be
but
cool.
yeah. So, but there's not too much of spontaneous arts around here. There's not too many people who are like,
I'd like to see a theater like that. What was it called? My family used to tell me about a theater that used to be here. Can't
Oh,
remember.
the Tully Theater.
I
The one that's like right over there.
Yeah.
Was it Movie House?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Tully Theater over there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, or it's like might be over there, right across the street. I don't know.
It's like right there.
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah,
But anyway, so
it's
what
somewhere.
about it?
Like a bigger version of that.
Mm-hmm.
If we're like, how can I say, like you're a director, where like you could put on your plays and you could have the community, people who are looking into go into that path, learn from it, and can develop the sense of knowledge to take on that career path while interacting with the theater. So it brings in more of the people from the community that have knowledge of the subject,
Wanna be
but
exposed
don't
to
get
it.
yeah, that want to be exposed, that don't get exposure as they should. So that would be pretty cool. I don't know why that rang on top of my head, but that
Well,
would be pretty
that
cool.
yeah, because I was gonna say because there was one thing that I'm still thinking about going to try to do because I always wanted to make a movie myself. Kind of try to make like a little mini like film festival around here. Whether I make it, whether it's just on the internet live or whatever. But I kind of wanted to make something more. I guess I want to start doing more in-person things because now with the internet, a lot of people, I know I'm jumping off a different train now, but a lot of people, we're now in the, age of technology. Everyone's on the internet, but nobody's really, I guess, especially with COVID, nobody's like now being more in person or meeting new people, I guess you can say. Like we meet them online, but then you're half the time like, I guess like certain memes say, you're like, I have this cool friend in Germany. I wish they were over here type of ordeal.
Yeah,
So it's like, trying to find, I guess, but that's half the battle, just making the event, but then it's the other half of someone coming to actually partake in it, which is the other hard part about it. So yeah, really, that's really about all I wanted to talk in that area, just the whole spontaneousness and all this sort of idea. Now I'm hearing, I guess, a little bit from one side of the community. I would also invite you, if you guys know more people who would like to be on this show, to come on and talk. Remembering that this is a community station, we're here, we're media, so that's why I'm on to do the video side, because we're starting to try to do more things with it. So yeah, that's kind of the most ideal of it. Because me looking at the time, I'm like, we have been recording for almost an hour-ish. So I guess now with the final closing thoughts, I guess one being comfortability and the children of the area and the good things that are coming. It sounds like, good things are here. Good things just need to be more, I guess, talked about, as we said, more of the community needing to know and figuring out and hanging out type of ordeal, Sure, we do, yes, we may have a few bad apples, but that shouldn't really soil the whole experience for certain things to, like, happen, because we do hear some of the news around here that may be negative, but we shouldn't let it like get us down too badly. So I guess, do you have any final things you would like to say there, Tally?
About the community in general, or
we can say really anything, if I'm being honest.
well, I mean, honestly, like going off of that is like I think everywhere, no matter where you go, it's like you're going to get like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows every day. I mean, New York City is, and Chicago and like LA and all them, they've got tons of great things going for them, and yet you've got plenty of bad things happen there too. I mean, it is what it is. It's one thing I've always liked about this place is you get what you get, and people are very upfront. A lot of other places I've ever been, like, people aren't always who they seem they are.
Sugarcoat.
Like you get sugarcoat, or you get like the mask of nicety, and people. In the past, I have come across people who are far more concerned about appearing nice rather than actually being nice, and I don't get that. I don't get that around here. Like I like that people are upfront, even if they're not the cuddliest kitten in the box.
You get what you get.
You just get it. It's like, oh, this isn't a kitten at all. This is a raccoon.
This is a
Okay.
tiger.
But at least this raccoon knows it's a raccoon.
Yeah.
And other colorful metaphors.
And other colorful metaphors. Oh, yeah. So, what about y'all? Anything y'all want to kind of ending notes say?
Come out to the play. Come see us do our stuff.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be cool.
It'll be great.
Hit me
You're
with
gonna
those
have a
dates
great
again.
time.
We'll shock you for sure.
Yeah.
Hit me with the dates again.
March
March
24th,
24th,
25th, 26th. That's the Thursday through Saturday at 7 p.m. at the CSD Auditorium, and Sunday, March 27th at 2 p.m.
All
That'd be
right.
great.
All right, cool. That is that'll be the show for Flodo, episode 4. I'd like to thank y'all again for coming on to the show, and hopefully I can invite y'all again. Obviously, it won't be like a month from now, but it'll be somewhere. So yeah, that'll be it. And I'll say, I guess, to that one other person, whoever X Shelp is with a snake. I think that's a snake emoji.
Dude, that has to be.
I don't know.
Bro, what's his
Yeah, I
name?
think that's a snake
Shelp?
emoji.
That's yeah. That's Gabe.
Which
Remember, because I need Shelp.
which gate? Smith?
Yeah, bro.
No.
It has to be. It has to be.
No.
It has to be. I'm
Well, I
making
guess
the
you
connection,
guys
bro. It
can
has
ask
to be.
those questions
Well-
when you meet up with them. So yeah, that'll be it for this broadcast. Thanks again for tuning in. And
Thank you
this
for
will-
having us.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
this is
man.
this will be also on YouTube, so it'll be forever on YouTube. And
Forever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. I'll end
Go
the
USA.
end the stream here.
And-